Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
Okay, so it looks like in our actual career mode, we're getting the hurry up from our R&D engineer to really start applying some of those upgrades to the car. Welcome to episode number 10 of the F1 2016 Career Mode Championship. As you can see right there, we've been overtaken in the overall performance index by Renault Sport Formula 1 team. So we've got some work to do in terms of upgrading the car and the resource points. You can see we've got over 1,000 points in our bank now, but I'm saving those for a massive spending spree at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. It's time for the British Grand Prix in Silverstone, and this track always throws up some really good races, and this one I expect is going to be no different. So as always, the priority in Friday practice is to once again build up those resource points, because we're going to go on one hell of a spending spree at the end of this episode. On this first lap, the track acclimatization test, you could see we were just out of control the whole way through turns 2, 3, and 4 there. And I just wanted to keep the foot in there, try and open the DRS to get those points and keep going. As you can see, it just went absolutely horribly. And when you overheat the tires like this, it makes it near impossible to get away and just get going again when you've got no traction control on. That's why you'll notice in a lot of the online videos, once they got spun out, I kept on spinning because I tried to get going and just the tires would not have any of it. But by the next lap, the tires kind of cooled out and things normalized and we kept going. So looks like this is going to be a pretty good lap actually. We come across the line and we set a purple score there to get 50 resource points for the track acclimatization test. So despite the fact that the first part of that test went absolutely disastrously, it just shows that you can, bring it back and actually get a really good result from that. So the qualifying pace didn't go too bad. It was a green lap, so we didn't exceed the team's expectations, so it was only 30 points. And like I said in the previous episode, the qualifying pace is a really good benchmark to see how quick you're going to be over the course of the weekend. If you can easily smash out a purple lap, it's going to be a good weekend for you, whereas if you can't beat the target, it's going to be a pretty tough one like we saw in Baku. So at the moment we're once again trying out the qualifying pace test. I tried moving up the aerodynamics to 10.10 or 10.9 to just make it a little bit better through the middle sector here. And for the most part it did work. We actually found that it was a little bit more comfortable through this section of the racetrack and my pace was naturally a little bit better. So I decided to leave the change with 10.9 wings, and as you can see here, this is the tyre wear test. We're actually going pretty well for Silverstone, which is a high tyre wear track. We've only got green and purple laps in terms of our tyre wear, so we've been looking after the tyres quite well despite Kimi Raikkonen interrupting our run there at the start of that lap. We're going to come across the line on this lap in particular to go purple once again, and this should be a purple score, and yes it is, 90 out of 105 points, and that is 50 resource points to add to the tally for our research and development. And as you can see at the end of practice 1, we end up in 13th place. All of our practice programs were done and completed in practice 1, so that was a very productive session for us there. And there we go, we're set up well to start qualifying now for this British Grand Prix. Let's go.
Welcome to this afternoon's qualifying session here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Here we are for qualifying then, and don't you love it when you put in all the work in practice, you do the tyre wear test, you do the track acclimatization test, and then you do a qualifying run, all in the dry, and then it comes to qualifying, the session that matters, and it starts raining. So all that data has gone out the window now, and we've just got to reset and try and do the best job we can. This is our first lap at the start of the session. Massive loss of the back end there through the final corner. Set a 147 to open the bank. Whether that's going to be a good lap though, that remains to be seen. We're just going to continue to set laps and see where we end up. Unfortunately, I underfueled the car at the start of the session. I was still running with like 4 laps worth of fuel, because that was what I was running with at the end of practice 1, so I could only do 2 laps at the start of that session. So what I'm doing here is I'm bringing it back to the pits. I debated whether I should have used another set of intermediate tyres. I thought maybe if it rains for the rest of the weekend, I'd like to have those 2 brand new sets saved for the race. So I decided to leave the tyre sets as they were, and we refueled the car to have about 10 laps worth of fuel, something like that, or 10 kilos it was something to do with 10. But either way, we rejoin on the track now. It looks like the track has kind of dried up a little bit. It's at least got a little bit faster, and that's something you'll find. Like if it's not raining any harder, then the track is going to get faster because more cars are running. It's going to clear up the track a little bit. It's going to get a little bit more dry. You can see there's a kind of a racing line there, but it's nowhere near dry by any means. So you can see that's the section of the track where you want to be. 3 minutes to go in the session now. We run wide through the old turn 1. And we decided to abort that lap. So at this point, I was starting to really think about the end of the session here. I decided to back off completely, let cars behind me go through, and really kind of time my run perfectly by the time we get to that final minute, so we can cross the line and be one of the last people to set a lap and really move up positions in terms of this qualifying session. So this lap was a bit of a throwaway one as well. I didn't start the lap very well. I decided to back off and really cross the line near the death of qualifying here. You can see there's 12 seconds left in the session, and I'm really timing this well. I think I should probably get a move on because there's only 5 seconds now. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we cross the line there with 2 seconds to go. So checkered flag drops, and it looks like we're probably going to be the last one to set a lap time here. So this is probably going to play into our favor a little bit. If there's one thing that's not quite on our side, it is that we've got I don't know, used intermediate tyres. We've done 6 laps on them at the moment, so I think they're about under 20% in terms of their tyre wear, but I think that should be fine. You know, when it comes to intermediate tyres, the tyre life doesn't matter too much, so all that matters is setting the lap time last in the session. You can see we're a 10th down on our previous best so far, but we really push it through the old turn 1 there, through Cops, and we actually get it back into the green there, as you can see on the Delta. The Delta is a really handy little feature for this year's game, especially when you come to qualifying. You can see exactly where you lose time and corners where you can improve on. You can see where you've done really well as well. So now we're 4 tenths up. We've completely turned this lap around now, and I don't think we're going to be challenging anybody for pole position today, but I think we can get ourselves well inside the top 10 here. Though in saying that, we're 7 tenths up now, so we could get pretty close to pole position here. Hamilton sets a 44.5, and that's 2.3 seconds quicker. So no, we're not gonna be challenging pole today, but we are gonna move up a few handy positions here as we come across a line. Where is it on the grid? 9th place. 9th place. Okay, that's not as high up as what I thought we were gonna get, but 9th place on the grid is still very good in this Manor Racing Team car in intermediate conditions. I will take that. Pascal is in 20th place for this British Grand Prix. You can see Kevin Magnussen has got a grid penalty there, so we ended up 1.5 seconds off the pace there, but not too bad. I think we maximised qualifying there, and it puts us in a really good position for this British Grand Prix to really attack in this race.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. With me today is a man who's no stranger to the thrills of Silverstone. He's a past winner here in sports cars, of course. It's our good friend Anthony Davidson. You seem particularly excited for this one, Ant. Is there something you want to tell me?
Oh, just looking forward to it, Crofty. It's always a very special atmosphere, and also I started karting in the late 1980s, and I was here for that epic race in 1986 with Mansell and Piquet fighting each other right here at my home Grand Prix. So coming back to Silverstone always means a lot.
We need you to put in a good performance today. Let's show the team that you deserve that #1 seat.
So here we are then on the grid of the British Grand Prix. The engineer says we have something to prove in this race, and I'd very much like to impress in front of a lot of the team's home race. So that's what I'm going to be aiming to do. At least get a points finish in this Grand Prix. I didn't mention it at the start of this video, but if we can hit 5,000 likes on this video, then tomorrow I'm going to try and upload 2 career mode videos and make it like a Super Sunday or something like that. But here we are on the grid of the British Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Let's get this race underway. Is it going to be a good start? I think it might be, actually. We jump the start on Kvyat there. Well, we jump him on the start, more like. It's 4 wide heading into turn 1. Let's see if we can follow Rosberg through, who's a little bit misplaced in this grid at the moment. So he's going to be one to watch as he carves his way back through the field into turn 2 now. And we follow Verstappen through. I honestly don't think we're going to be any kind of challenge for these guys. It's more or less going to be trying to run our own race from here, holding on to our position and seeing where we end up at the end of this first stint. You can see Carlos Sainz is following us once again. I feel like we're battling Sainz and Kvyat a lot so far over the course of this season. We kind of get to that level at the start of the race, and we just seem to battle the Toro Rossos quite a lot so far. But either way, it's the end of the first lap. It's been a good start. We are tucking in behind Carlos Sainz at the moment. We're going to use him as the car that kind of just breaks the slipstream in front of us and just kind of does all the work for us. But lap 3, there's a massive train of cars here, all kind of going a bit slowly. We got the inside of Sainz there, turns into a double overtake on Verstappen as well. So absolutely brilliant there that we've moved ourselves into P6. Didn't really intentionally try to get the Red Bull driver as well, but it's a massive bonus and I'll take that. Rosberg gets hung out to dry by Ricciardo, and he's left him a little bit vulnerable heading on to this 4th lap here. But there was no way I was going to attempt to move on Rosberg. I can't match a Mercedes, not in Season 1. Probably not Season 2 either, not till the second half of the season. So we'll let Rosberg go. He's done his own thing. He's caught up to Ricciardo and probably passed him already. But meanwhile, Sainz is on the attack. He got in front of us on that DRS straight. Now we're following him through once again. Going a little bit slowly through the corners, I must say. So maybe Carlos Sainz is running with a low downforce kind of setup. He got away after I lost the DRS to him. So it's a case of trying to stay in the slipstream and the DRS as long as you can with the cars in front of you, and you should be able to match them in terms of the lap time. But once you lose that, that's when our kind of lack of pace gets exposed, and we really start to fall back in the order. So lap 7 now, we've made our first pit stop of this race, going on to mediums, and then in another 10 laps time we'll put on the mediums again to run to the end of the race. We came in at the earliest opportunity to put on new tyres. The undercut is going to mean a whole load of lap time around a track like this, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. We actually jumped Carlos Sainz in the process through the use of the undercut. He's actually switched to soft tyres for the next stint. No, that was Bottas. Ignore me. I thought that was Sainz behind me for some reason. He's in front of me by a long margin, it seems. So this is Bottas I'm battling, and he is on the soft compound tyres. So I wonder what tyres he started on. Maybe he's doing a 3-stop if he's opting to run with the options for a long, stint of this race. So yeah, at the moment we're settling into a bit of a rhythm here. We're still in the points, which is a really good sign after the first round of pit stops. Normally that's around the time that you really start to lose your track position, especially in this manner when, I'm not holding up cars behind me and cars have clean air. That's when a lot of those guys start to make up time and even overtake me. So just keep an eye out in the pit stop phases in this career mode. You'll see I lose a lot of positions because cars get clean air, but either way, we got the inside of Bottas here. This is a very cheeky move. There was wheel-to-wheel contact, and we're going to shove him out to dry here, and we move up to P7 there. So that was really helpful for us in terms of our race now. He's attempting another move up the inside. Couldn't quite make it stick there. Always when someone's on my inside and they're not alongside, I'm always going to turn in for the corner. You'll see this over a lot of my career modes over the years in F1 games. If they're not past the B-pillar, I'm going to turn in, and there's probably going to be an accident if he doesn't back down there. So luckily for both of us, we get through there all fine there. After looking at the replay of Bottas and seeing how close that was, we rejoin in the action, and Bottas gets an engine failure. So yeah, that's a thing. He retired just as he was behind me there. We've had so many engine retirements over the last few episodes, and just in general over the course of this 2016 career mode season. It's been absolutely crazy. I think there's been more engine retirements than what we've seen in F1 2006, the Championship Edition. So it's very interesting. But either way, this is lap 15 now. Here comes Massa. He's getting some revenge on his teammate after, he is out of the race now, and he wants to get in front of the Manor now. So he's on the mediums, and he almost shapes a move to go into the pit lane. But I honestly think he was just trying to block there in order to not concede any slipstream or something like that. That was a bit weird from Massa. But either way, he gets the position. He moves into 7th place, and we're just going to stick in the slipstream here and just allow him to pull us along in this race and keep us away from the cars behind. For example, Perez, Grosjean, our teammate Pascal, who is somewhere down there in the teens. So it's pit stop time once again. This is our final stop now. We're going to go into the mediums once again and run to the end of this race. It's been a pretty straightforward race, this one. Nothing too daring in the way of, strategies, all that kind of thing. Favouring the undercut getting on fresh tyres, and just trying to run as consistently as I can to the end of the race. It's been pretty simple, to be honest. So we rejoin on the track there, and Massa makes up a lot of time exiting the pit lane. I was kind of caressing my tyres a little bit more than he was, and I actually lost that 1 second margin to him, so Massa completely blew me away for the rest of that stint there, and he just soared off into the distance, so we never saw Massa again. Meanwhile, we've got cars behind us approaching us pretty quickly. We've got Grosjean and Perez slipstreaming each other for the last, few laps. The gap was 6-7 seconds, and now it's down to just a few tenths, and on this lap they have DRS on the penultimate lap of this British Grand Prix. Perez goes round the outside, we hang it up the inside and try and just get through there as quickly as we can. Lock up the inside front, which is not going to do the tyre wear too well. Perez on the attack once again now on this final lap of the British Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton wins, and that's going to be a memorable win for all the home fans watching here, but we've got a bit of a mission here to try and keep Perez and Grosjean behind us here on this last lap. They both saw past me with DRS. Let's lunge him up the inside. We've got Grosjean now. Next up is Perez. Let's hopefully force a mistake here into the final two corners of this British Grand Prix. Deep under brakes and around the outside through the penultimate corner. Turns to the inside, and we're going to have 8th place just about in this British Grand Prix. What an awesome finish.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So there we have it, guys. That has been another fantastic British Grand Prix. That finish there was absolutely crazy. I got overtaken by both Grosjean and Perez. We got Grosjean early on, and then Perez, he went defensive for some reason. I just backed myself, went hard and around the outside, and we managed to make it stick there without, we had a pretty considerable tyre lock-up in the process, but that doesn't matter. Those tyres are not going to see any more racing for the rest of its career, I'd say. 8th place it is in the British Grand Prix. That's 4 points to add to our championship tally. Pascal Wehrlein, very nice effort there to end up in 12th place. A lot of cars ending up a lap down. Kvyat, Alonso, Ericsson, Nasser, and we had Bottas retiring from that race due to an engine failure there. So, pretty good race. Like I said, this race always throws up some pretty good racing. And it's pretty consistent over the years as well. Hamilton won that race from Vettel. I think Rosberg got 3rd as well. And the lead of Vettel's has come down ever so slightly, but not by a great amount. He still leads by 49 points in this 2016 Career Mode Championship. That is an absolutely monumental lead to have in a Ferrari. The Ferrari just seems to be so consistent this season. But either way, in the Constructors' standings, we move up to 6th. And we overtake both McLaren and Haas in the standings. No, did we? Yeah, we overtook Haas because we were level with them in the previous episode. So that's been a really good round for us. In terms of the resource points, it's 1,500 there. Plus, we have our first driver bonus, which puts us on just under 1,600 resource points. And you bet, we're going to go on an absolute spending spree at the end of this episode here. We've lost the rivalry to Bottas, even though he DNF'd in that race, though it wasn't really a big surprise, though, because, well, what can you really do against a Williams? In terms of the driver position, we only lost 1 point because we lost the rivalry to Valtteri Bottas, so I'll take that. We're still on target to remain the first driver for Manor Racing. Career mode score looks good, and now comes the bit that probably a lot of you guys have been waiting for. It's been a long time since we put some upgrades on the car, so we're going to focus areas on the engine, we're going to do weight reduction, and we're going to reduce the drag. Now, apart from Hungary, I'm going to isolate that race because it's a high downforce track, but apart from Hungary, we have some really high-speed, engine-dominated tracks coming up, like we've got Germany, we've got Monza, and we've got Spa as well. So we really need to focus on the straight-line speed, maximizing, the engine performance as well. Oh, we did fuel. Okay, so I did it in the wrong order. We didn't have enough points to do the engine, sorry. So we did fuel, weight reduction, and drag. So before we get to Monza, we are definitely going to put that final engine upgrade on, that second engine upgrade on, sorry. because we definitely need that. Heading into Monza, everyone is going to be focusing all their resource points and their attention towards improving that top line performance. So that has been this episode for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Remember, if we hit 5k likes on this video, tomorrow I'm going to have a double episode. That's going to be the German Grand Prix and also Hungary as well. It's going to take a lot of time to get those episodes out, but I think I might just about be able to do that. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2016 videos. And until my next one, guys, I'll see you next time.